Dreams do not die all at once. I'll do it tomorrow. Have you ever felt this way? You dream of doing something amazing. You imagine a better future. You want to accomplish something big, but when it's time to act, you pause. You say, I'll start tomorrow. If that sounds familiar, then listen closely. This story might change how you see your life. In a small town filled with the sounds of ringing bells and wooden carts, there lived a young man named Rayan. He was clever, talented, and full of big ideas. Rayan often told everyone, "One day, I will become the greatest clockmaker in this town. People from faraway cities will come just to buy my clocks." And people believed him. He had the skills. He had the imagination. He had the dream. But Rayan had one problem. He never began. When the other craftsmen worked early in the morning, Rayan stayed inside, sketching ideas instead of building them. When Ditan's mechanics were fixing gears and springs, Rayan sat outside watching birds, telling himself, "I'll start next week." He loved talking about success, but he never took the steps success needed. One evening, his grandfather, a respected clockmaker, visited his workshop. The old man looked around. The tables were empty. The tools were dusty. No clocks were being built. He asked, "Rayan, you always speak of greatness, but I see nothing here but untouched tools." Rayan laughed lightly. "Grandfather, don't worry. I'll start my masterpiece tomorrow." The grandfather had heard tomorrow too many times. So he decided to teach Rayan a lesson. From his coat pocket, he placed 2 small hourglasses on the workbench. "These are not ordinary hourglasses," he said. "The first one is the hourglass of purpose. Every day you flip it and make progress. It gives you clarity and strength. The second is the hourglass of delay. If you flip it, it makes you comfortable, relaxed, and slow. And soon, your entire workshop and your life will fill with unfinished tasks." He looked at Rayan and said, "Your future depends on which one you turn each day." Rayan nodded confidently. "Of course, I'll use the hourglass of purpose." But when the next morning came, Afeltidade, he said softly, "Tomorrow." Days passed. One afternoon, without thinking, he flipped both hourglasses, one out of guilt, one out of habit, and then he forgot about them. About weeks later, Rayan entered his workshop and froze. The hourglass of delay was glowing, and its sands had spread across the room like a thick fog. Tools were misplaced. Dust covered everything. Half-finished ideas cluttered the tables. His plans were drowning under delay. The hourglass of purpose, however, was nearly empty, barely shining because it had been untouched, ignored, forgotten, just like his ambitions. At that moment, his grandfather stepped inside. He looked around silently and then said, "Rayan, this workshop is your life. Purpose needs attention. Progress needs daily work. But delay grows even when you do nothing. If you keep choosing comfort, your time will disappear, and your dreams will disappear with it." Rayan felt a heavy pain in his chest. He finally understood. Dreams do not die all at once. They die slowly. Every day we choose later. That night he couldn't sleep. He whispered to himself, "If I don't change today, this fog of delay will control my entire life." The next morning, before the sun rose, Rayan went to his workshop. He cleaned every corner. He organized his tools. He turned the hourglass of purpose and, for the first time, began working on a real clock. It was difficult. His hands ached. The gears didn't fit, but he kept going every day, without fail. Weeks turned into months. The fog faded. The workshop filled with shining clocks ticking proudly. And Rayan transformed to... He became known as the clockmaker who mastered his time instead of wasting it. Final message to the viewer, dear listener. This story is not really about clocks. It's about your life. Inside each of us are 2 choices: purpose or delay, action or comfort, today or tomorrow. Purpose grows when you work for it, Dali, even when it's hard. Delay grows on its own and slowly destroys your dreams. So if you have big dreams, but struggle with procrastination, remember Rayan's hourglasses. Choose purpose. Choose action. Choose today. And watch your life transform.